Everybody, my name is Gerone Wright, and once again you are joining me on my YouTube Geronification channel here on YouTube. Okay, in this video I'm going to be discussing through my paranormal experience and encounter as to the function of our solar system and what I can feel through my multidimensional sense of awareness and being linked to all of this, how I can describe what is happening in our solar system in a way that science cannot even become close to making an example of or actually bringing to you. Okay, it's my position that I understand the entire function of not just our solar system, but all existence of space. And by me making these videos and creating these videos, I bring them to you in a layman's sense, but they make perfectly clear sense to you without the backing of scientific approval, which actually should demonstrate to you that I am truly paranormally linked to and capable of doing things that I'm stating that I'm capable of doing. Okay, these videos too, by the way, people, are unscripted. So if I seem sometimes distance or stammering for words, it's only because that I don't have no script here. I'm just winging it, and I'm just going through these videos in a way that comes natural to me, and that's just putting them out there and just letting them free flow. Okay. Up here is an image of our asteroid belt. Okay. Back here in the distance, this shiny object here would be our sun. Here are similar objects being in the asteroid belt, or what we can expect to be up in the some of these objects right here. Giant stones. Okay. And this is the 4 Vesta asteroid. This is the 4 Vesta asteroid. Okay, I'm gonna set this down. I know how these objects are created. I know how our planets are created. All right. So in doing so, I'm going to describe to you how our asteroid belt was created. Okay, it's my position that this glowing object here, the sun, is what created our asteroid belt and all of the objects contained therein. This is going to make for perfect, clear, logical sense to people when it's said and done. It's my position that planets, including our planet, were created initially. The core of our planet is created initially by the sun. Everything else, the organic substances there afterwards were attaching over, came from space. But it's my position that the core structure of our planet is initial creation of that by our sun. And every other planet, our moon, all of these objects are a part of our creation of our sun. I'm going to explain it to you, and it's going to make for perfect clear sense when it's done. It's going to become crystal clear of how this is actually being done. Okay. Now I'm going to bring us to our planet. I'm going to explain things to you in a layman's sense. On our planet, this is an erupting volcano here on our planet. This is the volcano's trunk opening, and here's the eruption in mass. We all know from the plasma lava flow, when these objects shoot up and the lava that flows down, that as these objects are heated to a sense, they are liquid. When they start to cool, they solidify. They become a solid. This is contributed. Volcanic activity on our planet is the contributing factor to how new land is formed. Well, people, that's the key to understanding what is happening in space with our sun. It's my position that if in our world the eruption of volcanic masses, plasmic flow or plasma flow, which goes from a liquid to its cooling state to being that of a solid, new land masses are being formed from the spewing over of a liquid lava flow being spread out. Then people, doesn't that make for perfect logical sense for what's happening with our sun and space? Our sun, this is a solar flare off of our sun. It's my position that plasma emissions from the sun that detaches itself from the sun, goes off into space, becomes contained in a containment ring in itself, cools down and becomes a solidified ball of material. Like such objects like this. The reason why they are not recognizable, because after these objects cool down, slow down to a point, cool down to a point where they are become a solid mass, they collect upon space, almost like a lint ball would in your dryer, which collects lint. Other objects and material, space matter, attaches themselves to these masses that have escaped from our sun, and thereby becoming objects like this here. Are you with me? Well, let me show you scientific proof, and I'm not even a scientist, on how this actually works. I'm going to take this down and go back to this image. An identical scenario to this is here. This here is the bead of a MIG weld, where the activity of the weld was taking place. You see popping scattered balls all off to the side, on either side, away from the original source of where the activity had taken place. It's called welder's lag or slag. Emitted energy from off the center point or the focal point from where the original heated source was conducting its energy. Blown off energy parts from off the center of where this was taking place. So if this was in space on a larger scale, like that of our sun, these blown portions of the sun energy, like that on our planet Earth, the blown portions of these volcano masses that blow this energy in lava form, this stuff gets blown miles away from its originating source and becomes solidified objects miles and miles away from where it actually began. Solidified objects from its originating molten or a melted source. So, the description from what I am stating, then wouldn't it cause for logical sense that the sun being over here and solar flares in the sense of eruptions that take place like volcanic eruptions on our planet, and the identical scenario of how a MIG welder would be welding, and these little particles shown on a smaller scale popping off of the original source of the weld out in all directions. See them little objects? And by the way, people, I don't know if welders would concur with me. Those little beads right there, you know what they look like? They look like this. They look like asteroids in space. Those little balls of metal created from a MIG weld, or just from an arc weld, or from just a regular welder, those beads, people, if you know about welding, or if you take a cutting torch and cut on metal, it creates these balls that cool down, these masses that pop away from the original source. That's why the welders have to wear that leather gear, because those little masses pop off and hit on their body and burn their skin. Imagine on just such a small scale that energy chemistry is happening, and masses from being heated from their original source popping in distances up to 10, 15 feet, 20 feet away on just this small scale. Then we have this volcanic matter on a much larger scale that can emit its eruptions, in some cases hundreds of miles up into the atmosphere and miles away from its original source. And then finally in our solar system with our sun, these solar flares shooting out. It's my position that these objects, not all, some are broken up pieces, maybe of colliding and all of that the scientists want us to believe, but it's my position that the objects in our solar system, where they came from, can be accounted from, because they are wasted matter, are emitted matter from that of our sun through its volcanic-like activity, that these flares in their plasma-like state, broken off of the sun, cooled to a point to where they solidified and became captured in what we know as being the solar belt. The asteroid belt. It's my position that Mercury, Venus, Mars, Earth, and our other planets in our solar system, their cores originated from the chemistry that I just described. The masses that they took on afterwards, their outer shells, are based on the substances that they collected in their years of being in rotation or in orbit with our sun from outer space. No one has ever described that before in that way. Through my genuine paranormal experience and encounter and understanding what is also happening beyond this stage is what gives me the incredible ability, people, to bring you these fascinating videos. I'm going to show you something else. Mars, the surface of Mars, appears to be a littered debris field of rock. Mars is closer to that of our asteroid belt, and between this activity of what actually has been going on. It's my position that just as this is an asteroid belt, that the activity that calls for this also calls for this. Well, you probably say, well, Gerone, why is it at a certain point? Why is it this? Why is it that? Why are we not being affected by it now? I can realize exactly, I can answer those questions on why this is. And maybe I will later answer that question for you. But it's right now what we need to understand is that I have just given you a rational reason as to how planets were created, how the asteroid was created, how the moon was created, and why Mars looked as a rock wasteland, or appears as it looks as a rock wasteland. People, our scientists cannot even answer that question. And here I am on a YouTube, and within my YouTube video, giving you all of this information at no cost except for a view. That's it. My name is Gerone Wright. You're watching my Geronification channel. And people, all I ask is if that I make sense to you. You want to see more? Share my videos, like my videos, and let people know that there is a guy that is actually stating things about our world, things about our solar system that make clear and perfect sense. My name is Gerone Wright. You're watching my Geronification channel. I'm also on Alien UFOs, Dreams and Experiences. And my title there is, and I am an alien and so are you. Or people, you can just take and Google my name, Gerone Wright. That's GeroneWright, and all my materials will come up. I thank you for watching my videos. And people, there is no better explanation for how our world was created, how the planets in our solar system was created, how asteroids were created, and what is going on around you. Thank you.